Hi everyone. R is a very powerful and free data analysis tool, and this video will walk you through installing it and setting it up on your computer. So the first thing you need to do is to install R, and you can go to Google and just type in RAN, that's R and then space CRAN, and hit enter, and it'll be your first link here, the comprehensive R archive network. And if you're installing R for the first time, you just click on download R for Windows, and this video will focus on installing R on a PC. I am not familiar with Macs and I never use Macs, so if you need help with installing R on a Mac, you'll have to look online, and I'm sure there's lots of videos showing you how to do it. And you'll click on install R for the first time, and then you would just download the most recent version. In this case, it's as of the time of this video, it's R 4.1.2 for Windows, and that's going to start downloading here. Once it's finished downloading, you just click on it to start it up. Click on yes, and you'll get prompts about what language you want it to use during installation, and just click through. I tend to leave it on all of the default settings. And then when it's finished, you can just click finish. Now, of course, you now have R installed, but what you'll notice is if you open up R, so here I'll scroll down to R and the latest one that I installed. In your case, if you haven't installed R before, it'll just show you the one that you just installed. If I click on that, I'll get this very plain looking user interface. It's not really helpful, and this can be kind of intimidating to new R users, and so I recommend you install RStudio also, and I'll show you how to get that. So here I'll just type in RStudio in Google, and then that's the first link. And RStudio is a software tool that helps you write and manage your R code more easily. I'll click on download the free desktop IDE. And so you have a few different options. I just use RStudio Desktop, the free version. Download that, and again, on a Windows, you would just download it. And that will be an exe also. And once that's finished downloading, you can click and install that. Now, I already have RStudio on my desktop, so I'll just show you what that user interface looks like. And here's the icon for RStudio. So RStudio allows you to more easily interact with R. There are a couple of windows I'll just point out here that are helpful. So when you first open up RStudio, you'll have 4 different panes. This top pane is the console, and this is where you'll see output from things that you're running and executing. You have top corner here, which can be a few different things. The one that I usually have it on is the environment, and that basically just shows you what is in R's memory. So when you create something in R, or you read some data into R, this will give you a list of those things, so it helps you keep track of stuff. And you don't get that in regular R, so that's one of the benefits of using RStudio. You also have this pane on the bottom right, and that can be a few different tabs. This first tab is a folder or file explorer that's helpful for being able to navigate to different files and folders that you're working with. You'll have a tab here for plots, so if you've created plots, they'll show up here and you'll be able to go through them more easily. Again, that's not something you would just get in R by itself. You'll have a tab listing all the packages, and I'll have a video on what packages are, but sufficient to say here that packages are bundles of functions that help you do different things, and you can have a lot of different packages installed on your computer at any given time, and this here is a list of all of those, and you can check on packages, check a package to load it, and make it accessible to you during the session where you're working with R, or you can uncheck it also. There's a little help tab which will allow you to search for topics. I'll make another video about how to efficiently answer your questions when you're having problems with R. And those are the tabs that I primarily use. And then you have a console, or you have your tab or your pane here where you can have your script. And a script is the file that contains all of your code that you're executing and then ultimately saving. So if I had here, if I created an object like X and I made that equal to 5, or 5, there we go, and then I run that, it appears up here in the console just showing me what I ran. And then you'll see here in the environment it says that you have this object called X and it has a value of 5, and this is the script in which I've written that, so I can save that script somewhere. Go to File, Save As, and I can just put it on the desktop or wherever I want to save it. And so those are the main panes here. You can also adjust the way this looks. So if you go under Tools and then Global Options, you have different options. So under the R General, you may have several versions of R that you've installed over the years, and you can click on Change and choose which version of R RStudio will use. So again, R is the actual program that allows you to execute all of this code, to do all this data analysis, and RStudio is this layer on top of it which sort of makes it easier to see what's going on behind the scenes that you otherwise wouldn't. So it's like a complementary tool to RStudio. RStudio is created by an independent company, but it goes a long way to making it use. For example, you can see here that this object that we created, X, is white, and this arrow has its own color here, and then the number that we created is 5. That has its own color also. So RStudio adds this capability of color coding the code that you have, so you can more easily identify the different parts of code. For example, I'll create a function, or use a function called readCSV, which has that color, it's white, and then in that I might read in a file, and I might give it a path, like desktop / folder or something like that. And you can see that the text there is in a different color, this light green. So again, after you get accustomed to that, it helps you identify or better organize how you're writing your code, makes it easier for you to see what's going on. One of the things that I like to do is that when you first install RStudio, these panes are set up a little bit differently. Console is on the bottom and then your code is at the top. I prefer it the other way around. When you want to change stuff like that, you go under the Tools, Global Options, and then you can click on Pane Layout, and you can specify here are the 4 panes that you see here, and you can say, you know what, I actually want the source, which is what it calls this part where you're writing the code. I want the source on the top, and then the console to be on the bottom, and if I hit apply, it'll switch that. So again, this is how RStudio looks to begin with. I just prefer it to look the other way around, where the console is on the top and the source is on the bottom. So I do that. The other thing you can do under that Tools and then Global Settings is you can go and you can change the appearance also. So you can change different themes. So you see how the colors will change. And this is what I meant about color coding. So it can use different the coloring schemes, as well as change the background. And so I can apply that. It'll change all of that. And then I usually like going with the darker theme. I'll just put it back to that. So there's different settings that you can play around with for how to adjust the look and the feel of RStudio, and you can get to that under this global settings option. So that's it for now. The next videos that I create will go into how to use R in more detail, different functions that you can use, different activities you can execute, like reading in data, and then also basic understanding of how to fix errors that you get, because that can be kind of frustrating. And one of the intimidating things about using R is this idea that you're kind of on your own and it can give you cryptic error messages at times. So I'll tell you how I resolve those issues. I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos on how to use R. So hopefully this video was helpful in identifying how to install R and RStudio and to change some of the basic settings when you get started. I'll be making additional videos that are more specific to how to actually do things in R. And if you want to learn more about how to use R for your solo consulting business, please subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.